The Encore Award is very important for novelists. One of the problems with the word novel is it has an offspring, which is novelty. And the first novel is all novelty. The light is on you, and there's a great deal of attention and expectation. With the second novel, it's required to be more solid. It's a more worrying time because that initial light isn't shining on you. And the Encore Award becomes then immensely important for writers. And it's something just recognizing that it's a long old road and that the second novel is the first step. I wrote my second novel, The Heather Blazing, which is a much quieter novel than my first. And obviously I was very concerned about it because that element of excitement around being new just wasn't there anymore. And I think when I got word, and I knew who the judges were, and there were people I really respected, when I got word that this very quiet book that really had, I think, had just emerged into the shade rather than the light, that had won the Encore Award, it really, really meant a great deal to me and meant a great deal to my publishers.
Hi, Colin. I'm Nikita Lalwani. I'm one of the judges of the Encore Prize, along with Paul Muldoon and Sean Kane. It's so brilliant to speak to you today about The Wild Laughter, which we absolutely loved. And I'm here to congratulate you on winning the £10,000 Encore Prize this year. Congratulations.
Oh my God. Wow. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. That's incredible news.
We just loved it so much. We found it to be this grand act of comic ingenuity, insightful, perceptive, and so resonant for the moment we find ourselves in now. And we're just so thrilled that we got to read it and that you've won.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, I mean, that means so much. I'll have to struggle to keep it together. But yeah, thank you. What an honor to be even on the shortlist. I mean, this is a prize that means a lot, I think, in general. The idea of the second book, your second book is where you've overcome all of the noise and all of the unhelpful kind of self-doubt that has to do with success and failure and the market and the feeling of culpability about how a book does, and you move into past that and you move into the more the writer place for those kind of anxieties to build up with the writing, with the silence, and with the page and the story, and the people who are still around you are your agent, and if you're lucky to have kept an editor, and those people allowing you to write whatever kind of a book you need to write, however dark, however unsellable, and to sit there with that was, I think, for me was a challenge, and I can recognize that with the second books of a lot of authors I so admire, a lot of whom have been recognized by this prize. So I'm astounded.
Oh, I'm so pleased to hear you say that. It feels such a confident piece of work. It's just crackling with this wit and electricity. It doesn't feel like you had any anxieties at all when you were writing it.
No, I lost plenty of hair.
It's a nice save. Did you work hard on the voice, or did that just pour out of you? We were really intrigued to know, because it feels such a very particular vernacular and poetic going on, and it's so concise for a short book. There's so much in it. It's very textured. Did you create the voice especially for it?
Well, thank you. Yeah, this voice, I think it kind of arrived in a way with the type of atmosphere of somebody who sits you down and shuts the door and looks at you in such a way as to almost intimidate you into needing to hear their story out. And there was something in it that I felt that I needed to hear it out. I was being asked to. And I think that's the insistence upon somebody needing their story to be worthy of telling is connected to, I think, something that arose in the novel organically that I didn't anticipate would come into the novel with this issue of euthanasia. And that has got to do with having some say in your own narrative, in how your own story concludes, and so that the voice, I suppose, arrived, first with this novel, which wasn't the case with my first book, but with this one, it was the voice immediately, and it was a very, thankfully, a very kind of comedic voice, because the story is so dark. I think there was this kind of trick to that Hart was using to keep me with him in the room, particularly through his poor behavior at times, and and I think that the fact then, the way the story goes, that was kind of the beauty that can happen, if you do sit down and you trust the shape that a story wants to be. I write into the dark, so I don't write with a plan. I had no idea, that there'd be what the story would become. So it was really a case of listening to the voice. And it's a very different voice to my first novel, which was partly set in Ireland, but also London and New York, and that was a very urban book. And it was had a more ironic, cynical voice. And this is, in a way, a kind of tragic, romantic, melancholic, rural, repressed Irish bachelor dreaming of America. It's the historically weighted voice that still, I think, exists in Ireland and is still part of the contemporary dialogue.
Yeah, it's definitely freighted with all of that, and it's got such a kind of black kind of sort of mode, as you say, going on in both the humour and in the end point that we're getting to, that it's just a joy to read. There's such frivolity in it, in and amongst all of these huge issues that you're dealing with, but also it really feels like something very original in terms of the way in which the story's told. It's a page turner, I think, in spite of everything
Potatoes
that you brought to it, or the process of writing into the dark. It's this very finely tuned quality to it. So thanks so much for talking to us about it, and we wish you well. Can't wait for the next book.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the other judges, Sian Kane and Paul Muldoon and the Royal Society. It's an absolute honour. I'm not going to work for the rest of the day. I'm just going to go for long walks and enjoy the moment. Thank you so much.